That's how it all starts, folks. And that is what brings us underway here into the Paranormal Portal. Welcome, everybody. Happy Friday. It has been an incredibly busy week, but hope you're doing great because you made it to the weekend. And by God, what could go wrong? Oh, thank you, Marie Garman. Thank you so much for the donation. That's so sweet. Thank you very, very, very much. I see also what happened up here. Aussie Boss Tiger. Remembered. God bless you. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Appreciate the donation and the membership as well. So thank you guys. Appreciate starting it off with a roll. Marie's primed the pump tonight, and Aussie's primed the pump as well for membership. So thank you guys. It means a lot that you not only want to watch the shows, but you want to invest in the future of the show. So thank you all so much for that. Hopefully everything is going good. It's Friday, as I said, and it's especially cool to me because Fridays are sacred for a lot of us. And I mean, that was when life kind of started. You grind your way through 5 days in order to hit that Friday, and that's when you're like, oh, let's go live. Let's go be alive. And you choose to be alive right here with me. So I couldn't think of a bigger honor than that. But I'm happy whenever you guys tune in and watch. If you can't be here live, thank you to those of you who watch whenever you get an opportunity. That means the world to me. And please keep spreading the word. Let people know about the Paranormal Portal because, hell, it'd be great if more people join the party. I think, personally, I would love that. So, hello to everybody that's here. I'm just going to roll through. Justin Goodearth was right away, right off the bat over in Rumble. So good to see you, brother. Thanks for coming in. So far, we got Chucky Danger. I think he was first on the YouTube, as well as me. I popped in. Then T-Bone popped in. And then Wizard Moon. And then... let's see who else. We've got some back and forth. Jed Maxwell popped in. Jed made it on time, so we're giving out 10 bonus points to Jed for punctuality. Annie Manul is here as well. Rachel gets it right, of course. Hello, friend is here. Good to see you. As well as, just popping through the list, Aussie Boss Tiger, of course. Not only is he here, but he renewed, he remembered. Remembered is my pet word for renewing their membership. So I hope all of you members will remember. But if not, thanks for giving it a whirl. Annie Manula is here. The Unknown is here as well. Eric Fry is here. Paranormal Portal and friends. We're all friends here, right? Great to see you all. And I'm just still going through. Brandy Copeland popped in. Good to see you, Brandy. Karen Alberding is here. Wonderful to see you all. Let's see. Dale Atkinson is here. Evening to the people of the Paranormal Portal. Evening to you, sir. Thanks for coming in and being a part of the journey, as always. RU is here, or Rue. Hope you all are having a great Friday, of course. Let's see what's going on as well. The Unknown is here. Good to see Unknown, in case I didn't just say hello already. I'm just going through the list and popping them off as I see them. Deborah Neighbors is here. Great to see you, Deborah. Elaine Clifford, great to see you as well. That might be everybody off the front end. Let's see, I'm still scrolling. Lots of conversations back and forth, which is wonderful. That's what I love about this chat room, is y'all have made a home here. Jose is here. How you doing, Jose? Great to see you. Happy Friday to you, sir. Kirsten, Leah, Mama Kirsten, ladies and gentlemen. Baby Ethan, of course, I announced live on the last show. Baby Ethan is here, and they're home now, and Kirsten is spending her Friday. I'm sure baby Ethan's right there hearing his first Paranormal Portal. So, hi, baby Ethan. I'm your Uncle Brent. How sweet is that? So, that's it. We are listening with Portal Baby. Aw, so sweet. That's so cool. I'm going to get a Paranormal Portal onesie put together for you. Send it out. You have to send me your address if you would, please. But that's providing I do it in any short order. I might need to buy like a 3T by the time I get to it, but I'll get to it as soon as I can. Sissy Lawson is here. Good to see you as well. Lake Diamond is here from Germany. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Hello to Germany. We love you. Guten Nacht. Or I'm not sure if it's Nacht there. I think it's Nacht, right? It's nighttime there. But good to see you. Thank you for coming in. Lenda is here. Good to see you, Lenda. Isaac is here. Daddy Isaac. The family's here, being represented in their first Paranormal Portal episode. All together, finally. What a beautiful moment. That's wonderful. Hello, friend. Thank you so much. Could not have found a more awesome show. Thank you, Brent. Thank you. I really can't take a lot of credit for it. You guys make this show awesome, honestly. You guys have created this amazing community around it, which energizes me in a way you guys can't understand. It's just so amazingly cool to turn on everything and just boom, go. So that's really fun, and it's this symbiotic relationship that we have here in the portal. So thank you for that. Kat Dougherty is here. Good to see you, Kat. Thank you for coming in. As we go, I'm the happiest woman in the world, Kirsten says. Oh, absolutely. We're all happy. We're all celebrating together. Sissy Lawson, I think I said hello to you before, but hello again. As well as, let's see, any new names? Looks like Eric Irick is, oh, you say it Irick. Are you Irish? I don't know. That's probably a stupid thing to say, but I'm known to say a lot of stupid. That's because I got a microphone and you get to hear every stupid thing that goes through my head. Pixie Ranger's in here, snuck right in. We saw you. It's kind of hard to sneak in if you're telling us you're sneaking in the chat, but appreciate it. Thank you for coming in. Pixie, great to have you here. Let's see. Uncle Brent, yeah. Oh, I just can't get tired of hearing that. Uncle Brent, that's sweet. Going through Michelle Wolfong, hello. Good to see you as well. It takes a while to get through these roll calls, doesn't it? Werewolf is here. Bad Boy's here. Good to see you, brother. Great to have you here, Brandy Copeland. And I'm just trying to keep up. Android Paranormal came in. Good to see you, brother. Good to have you here. Android's been with me for a long time, off and on. Like he's here a lot, and then he's not here, and then he's here a lot. So glad you've been around lately, brother. We've missed you. All right, let's continue on. BJ Lapierre is here. Good to see you, BJ. Thank you for coming in. A very talented person in her own right. Let's see. Josh Casto is here. Awesome to have you here as well. Let's trying to get through it as quickly as I can. I think I got everybody. Oh, Chell Bell is here. Good to see you. Hey there, Brent. Howdy, Portal people. Well, hello, Chell Bell. Thanks for coming in. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. Maybe it's Shell Bell. Is it Shell Bell or Chell Bell? I'm not sure what to do with there. I don't know. I'm not real worldly, so pronunciations are real basic for me. It's a CH, it's ch. But you might be going with Shell Bell. That sounds more fluid and poetic. What is it? YDP, Eric? Or was that supposed to be YEP? I don't know. Either way, Jed Maxwell, great to have you here. I already said hi to you, but I'm saying it again. All right. That's going to about do it for the call outs. Bad boy, $20. Woo! God bless you, sir. The Goblins here as well. Poncho Zorch, good to have you here. Man, you guys are chatting up a storm. I can't even catch up. I cannot even catch up. There we go. I finally caught up. There we go. Brent, you had it right first time. CH is pronounced like SH. Short for Michelle. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. Shell Bell, welcome. I'm going to say it right from now on. Entity Voices Paranormal Investigations is here. It sounds like we should talk. Entity Voices Paranormal Investigation. It sounds like you might have some stories of your own, so you got to definitely talk to me, and maybe you can be a guest on the podcast. Love to talk to you about any investigating you're doing. That's wonderful. And experiences, of course. I'm always looking for guests at the Paranormal Portal podcast. So if you have stories of your own, head over to paranormalportal.net, and there's a button on that page that says interview me. You hit that, it'll open my calendar app, and you can pick from dates and times I've set aside for interviews, and it'll pop up, and you can choose the one that best works for you, and I will meet you there, and we'll record an episode. So that's awesome. Thank you, T-Bone. T-Bone says that's because you're a great YouTube channel, Brent. That's wonderful. I'm glad you guys feel that way. All right. So, Android Paranormal Portal, did you get the phones fixed? No. I have no intention of getting phone lines anytime in the foreseeable future again. It was a great thing to have for a long time, but it just didn't get the mileage that justifies the expense. So I don't think I'll do that. We may do something through Discord at some point in the future, but not yet. It's not something I've addressed real aggressively. But anyway, we got a lot to get to. I think Sheldon should be along. I haven't heard for sure. He hasn't responded, but generally he's here on Fridays. But he's not even read my message yet. So he might be extraordinarily busy. I know he's helping his grandma a bunch as she was relocating. And so I don't know. If he can, he'll be here. If not, I'll just hold down the fort with all of you guys, and we'll have a great time either way. We are going to get to the news here shortly, ladies and gentlemen. Diving into all of the weirdness that's going on. Sometimes it's paranormal. Sometimes it's just interesting, entertaining, or just bizarre and weird. But we'll get into the news shortly here. And then we'll get to the last part of an article we were going through Thought Catalog, where it was paranormal experiences of military personnel. And there's two stories left. I was going to polish it off last time, but the last story is kind of long, so we'll do it tonight. Then we're going to get into what the hell is that, and go over some video and photo representations of what is supposed to be the paranormal. We'll review that and weigh in with our 2 cents. And then we'll get to the Cryptid Corner and see where the hell we end up. So all of that is coming up tonight. Hello, Amanda's Crazy Life channel. Good to see you. Thank you for coming in. It's great to see all of you guys. So I guess without further delay, it's time to get to the news. My voice dropped out. The news. I don't know. It sounded better in my head. Then I did it, and it sounded really stupid. There you go. Let's get to the news, ladies and gentlemen. See what's going on. It's time. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Paranormal Portal News Desk. And Barbara Mara came in over on Rumble and says, the only time I carry a towel. I don't think I've ever heard this reference before, but she said, is to rat tail someone. So I don't, is that what you call it when you wind it up and you snap them? Is that called a rat tail? Because that's what I'm picturing in my head that she meant. But I'd never heard that called rat tail before. You guys will have to let me know if that's what other people call it, or is that a regional thing, or is that... I just called it snapping someone with a towel. We never really had a name for it. See, Barbara says yes. So if you didn't notice the first message I put out on both YouTube, Twitch chats, as well as Rumble is, I hope you guys are ready. We're about to jump into the Paranormal Portal. Hope you brought a towel. And that's kind of a reference to Hitchhiker's Guide. I don't know, it sounded cool in my head, but that was the response. So I've never heard that called rat tail before. That's kind of cool. I started laughing when I read that, Barbara. Thank you. Huh. Yep, that's a rat tail, Dale says. Yeah, okay. Towel snapping. Yeah. I never heard a rat tail for that before. I lived a sheltered life, and here's the thing. Like, I'm one of those people that has like clumps of information, but I don't really have a robust knowledge base of a lot of things. So some of the most stupid, silly things I don't know. And I don't know if that's like some big holes in my development, or if I just had tunnel vision. I'm like, I'm going to learn about this and screw everything else. I don't know. But things like that, little common figures of speech, I never got. Barbara got the Hitchhiker Guide reference. Yeah, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Classic movie and book series. But anyway, actually the author of that also, and I forget his name, but he also wrote this hilarious book called Rincewind the Wizard. And I read that, and that was hilarious. I never read the actual Hitchhiker's book, but I read the Rincewind, and that was so freaking funny. There's a reference in the book Rincewind, and it still cracks me up, and it cracks me up for a few reasons. I had this ex-girlfriend that I dated, but she like never ever cleaned out her refrigerator. There were things that were probably you could carbon date in there. There were things that I think developed their own ecosystem in her fridge. It was just a scary place, and it was freaky. Like, it just didn't occur to her, and I go over and hang out with her, and then I go throw stuff away from her and haul out garbage just because it was just like, oh God. But in the Rincewind book, there's a story of this refrigerator that becomes like sentient because it's got all kinds of old food in it. And it made me think of my ex-girlfriend's refrigerator. I don't know. It's just very, very well written. I love that book. She created life. I think so. She had her own biome in there. It was pretty creepy. But anyway, there you go. So this is the news. As always, we're going to get to some weird stories. Throughout the course of the show, we get into a lot of different web pages. And I just want to encourage you guys, please support these pages because they're so incredibly well done. These pages are really phenomenally updated, maintained, administrated, and it's hard to find amazing sites like these. So I hope to call attention to their work throughout the course of these shows and encourage you guys to go visit these sites. They are so full of incredible stories and information that we could never touch on in a million years, just because there's so much information out there. Sorry, my eye is just itching like crazy. And so please visit these sites. Please give them your love because your traffic equals revenue for these sites, and that helps keep the lights on. Any buffering problems at all? Let me know. I've got green on my back end, but then YouTube's kind of snarling at me, so I don't know. It should be a good connection based on this, But when I look at the YouTube back end, it's like, oh, there's not enough data. So let me know. Yeah, I think it's allergy eyes. But if you guys are getting any buffering, let me know. Not much I can do about it, but at least I can address it and say, sorry, I'm doing the best I can. It's not like I can control the speed of the interwebs, but let me know how it's looking for you. Welcome to the Paranormal Portal podcast. These are the live streams, Jason. This isn't the podcast, but live streams and podcast are two very different shows, just for the record. But all right, let's get to the news and find out. Hey, Two Shadows came in. Good to see you. And Standing Stones, wonderful to see you as well. That's a new name, Standing Stones 1776. Too Narrow Stuff Gets Lost, and It's a House of Cards. I don't know what that's in reference to, but thank you for that piece of wisdom. All the same. All right, here we go. Douglas Adams. Thank you, Rachel. I couldn't remember it. Yeah, Rincewind the Wizard. That's Terry Pratchett. Oh, is that Terry Pratchett? Okay, so maybe I was conflating those two. Sorry. I'm totally controlling it. All right, here we go. No, it's okay, Jason. It's fine. It's a common error, and it's probably my fault because I gave them both the same name. Both shows the same name. I ran out of creativity. It's like, everything's Paranormal Portal. And there you go. Don't worry about that, brother. I have ADHD too. So I think it's more AD than HD, but I have that. Okay, let's get it going. A few days ago, you were buffering big time. Thank you, Jose. Hopefully it ended up working out. It looks like it's straightened out on YouTube now. That looks good. So let's get to the news and find out what articles I've curated for your interest tonight. We're going to start out with an amazing site that we always use here on the shows. This is unexplained-mysteries.com. It is basically the backbone of the Paranormal Portal news. It's just an incredibly well done site. And there's some incredible stories over there and so many different topic areas that we don't cover on the show that you can go look over there and catch articles about pretty much anything you're interested in. So let's check this out. Unexplained-mysteries.com brings us the first story tonight. And this is, let me turn off the Zoom capture window. There we go. Bonkers experiment proves that sloths actually do break wind. What? Was there a question about this? Who asked that question? Who asked that question? Because they need to get slapped right in the head. It's like, what does that matter? And how much research effort and money and funding went into finding that out? I mean, honest to God, really? It eats plants. Anything that eats plants is going to have some vapors. It's just the way it works. Why would they research this? This is so dumb. Anyway, since they did, let's find out. Thank you, Linda. And looks like Linda gifted a membership, and Mickey G, you are now officially a member of the Paranormal Portal for 1 month. I bet you they do probably do it very slowly. You're right, Annie. Thank you, Linda, for your kind gift. I appreciate it. How much did they get paid? I don't know. That's the problem. And anyway, we're going to find out what the hell this story's about because, damn. All right, here we go. For years, it was believed that sloths were unable to fart. I can't believe I'm reading an article that's actually using that word. I was expecting flatulate or flatulence, but they're going right for second grade vernacular here. But now this peculiar claim has finally been debunked. If you ever wondered what scientists get up to in their spare time, no, they need better hobbies. Here's one particular bizarre bit of research that seems primed for inclusion in the next Ig Nobel Prize Awards. For reasons unknown only to themselves, zoologist Lucy Cook and wildlife veterinarian Andre Sands Braudagam took the time to capture the first ever known footage of a sloth breaking wind. What? They're going to start a sloth OnlyFans now or something? That's creepy as hell. No room for scientific interpretation here. Just good old-fashioned bum gas, said Cook. So yes, sloths do flatulate, and I may have witnessed the very first documented case. Well, I'm sure they've been doing it longer than you've been holding the camera to their ass. I'm just saying. But anyway, it certainly stands to reason that this would be the case. Sloths eat a lot of plant matter, which is particularly well known for breaking down and producing gas during digestion. The reason it was thought that they didn't break wind is because scientists had thought that an unusual evolutionary quirk had enabled them to reabsorb the methane rather than expelling it. Why? That's not something anything needs, I don't think. They're so gassy that they even use their stomach gas to float when in the water, Brodingham told Live Science. If you work with sloths, you live with their gas everywhere on x-rays, interfering with ultrasounds. It can actually be a huge concern. In this way, gas and the pressure associated with it can be a huge issue. There's a video, but I'm going to skip that. We're not getting into the video. I don't need to know any more about that, but if you didn't know that before today, you're welcome. The part of the Paranormal Portal news is to break cutting edge stories or cutting cheese stories, as it might be. That just came to me. I can't believe I have to read that. Okay. Well, there you go. That's the first story. So now we know. Anybody had bingo card, sloth farting? Just you might have got a bingo. Just check your cards. Here we go. Next article. This is from unexplained-mysteries.com. This one has to do with indirectly with Area 51, but I'm pretty sure they probably don't have much to worry about because it's a freaking desert. But let's check it out. From unexplained-mysteries.com, major wildfire in Nevada threatens to engulf secretive Area 51 base. There you have it, folks. I mean, there's prairie grass, but I bet that's not going to create a real raging inferno, right? All right, thick black smoke and flames now dominate the landscape around America's most infamous secret base. Something is stirring in the Nevada desert, and it isn't a reverse-engineered alien spacecraft. Firefighters in the state are currently battling a major wildfire that began on July 4th. I wonder how that started. Some idiot with a sparkler, probably. And has since spread from an initial 8,000 acres to a staggering 35,000 acres, dominating the western landscape with thick plumes of black smoke that can be seen from miles around. The blaze was thought to have been spread by a combination of high winds and particularly dry conditions, and it's now perilously close to the borders of Area 51 base. It's not just the base itself that's under threat either, as local businesses which rely on UFO tourism, such as those in the small town of Rachel, could also be impacted by the blaze. The famous extraterrestrial highway has become quite perilous, with tourists who had already ventured into the area being unable to travel any closer to the base in fear of being cut off by the fire. Despite the seriousness of the situation, however, the blaze has managed to reignite interest in the Area 51 mystery as UFO enthusiasts around the world keep up to date with what's happening. In all likelihood, the fire won't actually reach the base itself, and so far the surrounding towns are safe. Once the fire's under control, UFO tourism in the region will likely continue to thrive. Well, there you go. They had a little brush fire. Looks like they won't be burning any extraterrestrials, so should be fine. Should be fine. I didn't know that. Learned that today, too. And here's the... No, I got two more. One more after this, right? Yeah, okay. We're going to do four of them. This one's kind of sad. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with the biggest skydive ever attempted and completed by a human being. But it was done by Felix Baumgartner in a Red Bull. They basically put him in the edge of space, and he dove off of this huge weather balloon capsule thing and free fell, like, I don't know how many tens of thousands of feet, but it is by far the record for the highest skydive ever done. And I think he actually passed out on part of the descent. I'm sure he was falling for like 15 minutes. My God, he was way up there. And I don't know, but apparently he died. Felix Baumgartner apparently died in a paragliding accident. So we're going to cover that now. From unexplained-mysteries.com, man who jumped from the edge of space dies in paragliding accident. Yeah, I guess he caught. Yeah, I mean, you know, if you live your life on the edge, it's probably gonna happen. But he did make some really incredible milestones and achieved some incredible things, showing us what was possible, I guess, more than anything. So God bless him and God bless his contributions. But here we go. 56-year-old Felix Baumgartner became a household name thanks to his extreme skydiving stunts. Back in 2012, Baumgartner made history books when he jumped from a helium balloon in the Earth's stratosphere and plummeted more than 24 miles at speeds of up to 843.6 miles per hour. My God, what does that feel like? Yes. Watched by millions online, his death-defying jump sent him into an uncontrolled spin, but he managed to regain control and land safely, breaking multiple world records in the process. But luck was sadly not on his side on Thursday when, during a motorized paragliding jump over Italy, he suffered a heart attack in midair, resulting in a fatal crash on the ground. The local mayor paid tribute to a symbol of courage. Baumgartner had long held a fascination with extreme heights, having striven to become a skydiver and a helicopter pilot from a young age. I always had the desire to be in the air, he once said. I climbed trees. I wanted to see the world from above. Sometimes we have to get really high to see how small we are. That was the view from him jumping off of that to do that free fall skydive back down to earth. So, I mean, really? Look at that. And by the way, that doesn't look very flat to me. It looks kind of curved. Just going to throw that out there. Some people say, oh, it's a fish lens. Well, no, it's not. There's plenty of right angles in here when you look at his gear, and not all of it is fish lensed. So that looks curved to me. Just saying. I'm just going to throw that out there, but not that I have anything against those of you who believe in flat earth. I just don't. But anyway, there you go. Sad news, I guess, for the death-defying stunt community. And what an achievement. I mean, he did something nobody had done before, so Godspeed to you, sir, wherever you are. All right, one more to go. Here we go. This one is, I don't understand that. I don't think I've ever heard of this before. But we'll take a look. Here we go. From unexplained-mysteries.com, the last story from unexplained-mysteries.com. Actually, I don't know what I'm going to do for the news tomorrow now that I think about it. New Netflix documentary explores the case of the balloon boy. I have no idea what this is about. I saw this headline and I'm like, what? Let's check it out. Authorities in Fort Collins, Colorado were scrambled when reports came in of a boy trapped in a helium-filled UFO. Oh no, really? How did he breathe? Anyway, let's check it out. The bizarre incident, which occurred back in October 2009, involved 6-year-old Falcon Heen, who was thought to have crawled inside a large helium-filled UFO-shaped balloon that had been constructed by his father as part of a backyard experiment. The alarm had been raised when a search of the house failed to find any sign of the youngster, and his brother claimed that he had crawled into the balloon before it had lifted off. The balloon went on to reach an altitude of 7,000 feet, leaving the boy's family absolutely terrified. Got a little company. The day progressed. National Guard helicopters pursued the balloon, as did the police, until it eventually came down on its own around 15 miles from where it had started out. When authorities looked inside, they couldn't believe their eyes. The young boy wasn't there. The ensuing drama is the focus of a new Netflix documentary, Trainwreck Balloon Boy, which is streaming now. You can check out the trailer below. I think we'll skip that, but if you want to watch that, it's on Netflix. Maybe check it out. Very crazy. I wonder where the kid was. I don't know anything about this story, so I guess he wasn't in the balloon. That's maybe the good news, because I don't think you can, I don't know if he was in where the helium is or if he was in a compartment that would have had oxygen, but I'm pretty sure you can't breathe that stuff for long, so there you have it. I don't know. Something to think about all the same. Craziness. So this has been a production of the Paranormal Portal News. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you learned something new. Hi, Kitty Cattywhack. Good to see ya. Great to have everybody here. All right, let's get back to the rest of the show. Well, there you go, folks. That was the news. Justin, that story happened. I covered that story last show. So you were right. The Annabelle story did make the news, but it was on the last show. And there's no new news to cover about it today. So it was last time. But Barbara Moore said it was a hoax. It was a hoax. Maybe that's a way to draw attention to what you're doing is, oh, my kid's in there. And waste a lot of money making authorities chase a balloon that I'm sure he probably didn't have permission to release anyway. So I don't know. But there you have it. That was the news. I hope you guys found value and merit in that. So speaking of oxygen, trying to sleep without my CPAP tonight. I've got a mouthpiece that should help. Oh, well, I hope it helps. Be careful. You got a CPAP for a reason. They help you breathe. You don't want to go long periods of time as you're sleeping with no air. How am I supposed to breathe with no air? Sorry, that song came to mind. I don't know why. I bet some sloth started it. There you go. All right, so we're done with the news. Hope you guys enjoyed that. We've got a lot more to get to, obviously. We've got more to do. But did I miss anything in the chat? Anything else going on that I missed? If ghosts have a body, do they have ghost farts? Jesus. I don't know, Annie. I don't know that they probably... Considering that flatulence is a byproduct of eating biological matter, I'm going to probably say no. There's probably no ectoplasmic farts going on. I'm going to guess, since they're energetic beings, they probably don't have that issue. I don't know. Do you think ectoplasm has a smell? Maybe it does. I don't know. I know that demons are supposed to smell like bad gas. So if you're smelling some flatulence and some hauntings going on, you might be dealing with something a lot darker than just neighborhood ghost. Could be something else. Just saying. All right. Or you're investigating with some really flatulent people. Do not go to tacos before investigating. Just a word of advice. Okay. All right. God, the chat is just going on. Acto slime, Mike Prine says, maybe. Could be. Never trust an ectoplasmic break. Yeah, probably not. All right, here we go. We're going to get to the article that we were polishing off for several shows, and we're going to finish it off tonight because that would be good. I just got to pull it up here, make sure we're on the right place. Okay, so literally it's the last two mentions from this article from Thought Catalog. We're on number 29 of 30. This Thought Catalog article is written by January Nelson. That's the name of the author, who farmed it from a Reddit thread. The article dates to 2018, actually October 30th, 2018, and it's spooky paranormal stories from former military personnel. And these have been pretty interesting. Some of them are more just haunty, and it doesn't really seem to matter. I know that, again, I got to reiterate, check out Nick Orton's Tales from the Grid Square on Instagram. It's a pretty fascinating job he's doing. He takes some really bizarre stories dealing with a lot of different phenomena from active duty personnel and formerly active duty personnel. Things they experienced while in service, and some of it is just crazy Crazy stuff. So definitely check it out. I realized something. Forgot to take my vitamin D. I was feeling like, I feel kind of lethargic. So I'm going to take my vitamin D, see if I can get some more energy. That's good for me. There we go. All right, so maybe that'll help. Give me some steam to push through here. I haven't heard anything from Sheldon yet. That's a little bizarre. Wonder if he forgot what day it was. You okay? You okay? Question mark. We'll find out. I don't know what's going on. Don't know, but at any rate, let's get to the next part. Hi, Mr. Golden V. Or is that V as in 5, Roman numeral, or Mr. Golden V, the letter? But hello to you in either case. Thanks for coming in and checking out the show. Mr. Golden. Maybe it's just Mr. Golden would be the better approach there. You're right, Wizard. Nice job. All right, here we go. We're going to get into this article again from Thought Catalog. My God, it starts now. Number 29. Is that fitting? Not really, is it? Let me size this down just a little. Ooh. Not only that, but I sized it right off the screen. There we go. My best friend's grandfather worked in some unspecified but very high security stuff. I never read the cuss words, just so you know. He refused to talk about most of his experiences, but anytime the subject of aliens or UFOs came up, he'd get extremely serious out of nowhere and basically force the conversation to be changed. My friend said it was very unnerving to see the fear in his face. One time my buddy finally pushed him on it and asked him if he believed in aliens, and his grandfather just said, "If you honestly think we're alone, then you're ignorant as hell." The sincerity that was in his voice still bothers my friend. I agree. I don't think we're alone. I think we're absolutely surrounded by things that we can't see, both extraterrestrial, interterrestrial, energetic, spiritual, cryptozoological. I think there's a whole catalogs of things around us. So, yeah, I don't think we're alone. But I will say that I also think that ignorance is bliss. I think that saying is very, very true, because if you don't have to think about it, then you can just live your life, and that's kind of a pretty cool place to be. But if you think about it, and then you're constantly cognizant of the fact that if it looks like I'm alone, but I might not be alone, there might be a bunch of things here staring at me, then that becomes unnerving, I think. I think that becomes weird. So I really do almost envy those people that they just think it's just them and their existence. That's it. But I don't think that's the truth. So, good point.
Hi.
Well, there you are. You are okay. Okay.
I am okay. Yeah, I saw your message, but problem was I knew the show had started. So I'm like, nah, he won't see it, so I'll just show up.
Well, that's probably good. Yeah, I mean, I certainly can't look at my phone too much. So there you are. You're on screen, but welcome. How's everything going?
Hi, doing good. Fantastic. Friday as usual. Feeling great. Hope everyone else is having a good start of their weekend. But yes, I was listening a little bit while I was getting set up here, and yeah, I 100% agree. It's like a fish being in a kiddie pool, being like, "Oh, that's all there is." There's oceans of stuff, potentially oceans of stuff out there. Who knows?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think that we are swimming in an ocean of this stuff, but we're only cognizant of the little kiddie pool.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. All right, good points. Well, thank you for your input there, Sheldon, and glad to have you here.
Good to be here.
So this is the last one in this story. This is number 30, and this one's the longest one. So, well, it looked long when I was scrolling. I'm like, oh, that's a big one. That's why I didn't read it last show. I was going to close this article out last show, but I was like, nope, that's too long. Here we go. First and foremost, I'm going to say I wasn't a believer originally, but many of these experiences changed my mind. I recently separated the Air Force, but before I did, I was a controller for 7 years with a few thousand hours worth of control experience, similar to air traffic control. Well, this specific story happened on my third deployment and has left me baffled ever since. Over my deployments controlling downrange, I have had many strange things happen, but none that stood out like this. This specific event happened over the course of a week, around New Year's of 2016 during the nighttime. It started off as a regular shift controlling. I had a few CAS assets, and I have no idea what that acronym means, working different taskings around the country, a few UAVs, and of course, a few tankers. I guess that means all the things that were in the air that he was tracking. Mm-hmm. Weather-wise, in country, it was cloudy and overcast, and because of that, I didn't have a lot of other traffic and wasn't projected to get much throughout the shift. Perfect, I think. Controlling aircraft, as many of you may know, can become very stressful very quickly. But your workload always varies, and 2 shifts are rarely ever the same. Well, I sat this specific position for my second deployment now, and was easily nearing 1,500 hours. I know few other things in life better than I know that airspace. It was a difficult position at times, and these weather days were a blessing. As time passes and I stare at the scope, I started to notice something. I started picking up a radar-only track from the southwest of the country, and that was tracking northeast. I didn't get a mode C on track, so the altitude I was looking at could have been way off. We use mode C altitudes in aviation because they are altimeter generated on the aircraft itself. Because of weather effects, radar can be way off depending on the distance the track is from the radar itself. Well, this track appeared to be at 45,000 feet and flying about 115 knots. Well, this struck me as odd because that's a very slow speed for an aircraft to be flying that high. With radar, only if that truly was an aircraft, it could have been anywhere between 30 to 45,000 feet. Again, a huge difference, which is why we use mode C. So as time passes, I begin to troubleshoot. I interrogated the track, requesting all modes and codes, but nothing came back for it. I think to myself that the system itself must have put a random track data on the weather. This can happen at times on bad weather nights, and depending on which radar is interfacing with our system. Well, I just shrug it off and I drop the track from our database, as I was certain that it was nothing. Could have been there because no civilian aircraft fly where that track originated, and I had full accountability of my assets, and so did all of my fellow controllers. So after another 5 minutes, another track originates. I think to myself, okay, that's odd. The track appeared to continue on a 020 heading at around 115 knots, so I still showed it at around 45,000 feet. I go over to another scope, and sure enough, there it is. All of the scopes were showing this same track. I interrogated again, and sure enough, no codes. Well, I speak to my shift supervisor about it, and he shrugs his shoulders and continues sipping his coffee. Because of how slow it was, I decided to ask other units on the AORs if they could also see this track. Now, without getting into detail, different radar operators operate in different frequency spectrums. Civilian and military radars of different kinds, be it ground-based, air-based, are, as you can imagine, different in design and nature, but generally they all work the same. I'm aware of what kind of radars I was using, so I reach out to a unit I know that uses a different kind, and sure enough, they also see this track at 45,000 feet, moving along at about 115 knots. And this is where it all started to get strange to me, because a system anomaly can happen, but another unit was also seeing this independently from us, so something was there. So now 2 ground units see this. Well, I reach out to AWACS, Airborne Radar, and I give them a position of the track, and sure enough, they see it too. 45,000 feet at 115 knots. I again alert my supervisor, and he too thinks it's strange. Well, at this point, many different units with different radars are all seeing this thing. Downrange, right now, we have some of the most difficult airspace with many different countries all competing for airspace and targets. Well, at this point, I'm not thinking UFOs. I'm thinking could be Russian or God only knows. So not long after I set my F-16s to check in with me, they are ready to refuel. I get the go-ahead from my supervisor to conduct an intercept because of the position of the track relative to the fighters. And I explained to the fighters that they have a radar-only track with the identification of bogey, and that if they have the fuel for it, I need a VID, which is visual identification. The Viper tells me they need to refuel first, but will right after. About 15 minutes later or so, the Vipers check back in, and I walk them on to the bogey, and I clearly see the track about 30 or so nautical miles away from them as they start their intercept. Now, Vipers are jack of all trades and master of none in the way of fighters. Their air-to-air capability is good, but not the best. But at this range, they should have no problem seeing this track, and yet they continue to ask me for bogey dopes, or point-outs. 25 miles, clean, Viper tells me, which means he sees nothing on his sensors. 20 miles, silence. 15 miles, another clean call, followed by another point-out. As soon as the Vipers come within 10 miles, poof, the radar track vanishes. The Vipers never saw anything, mind you. They were wearing NVGs, and all of their systems were reported operational. This left us baffled because we had observed this track, and so did others, for about an hour. As soon as the Vipers returned to their original tasking and were about 30 miles away from the bogey, it reappeared. At this point, we're all looking at each other funny because even if you don't suspect UFOs or Russians, that's really strange. Over the course of the next few shifts, I would once again see this track on and off following about the same profile. Radar only, anywhere from 30 to 45,000 feet and around 100 to 130 knots. But the following two shifts, I didn't have any assets to conduct an intercept. We reported this anomaly up this chain, and we were told to keep an eye on it. And this was until the fourth night. I happened to sit the same shifts every night, but the other controllers saw this track too, and we would speculate on what it could be. Once again, this track appears on screen, but this time a little different. Same profile, but it appeared to be flying a zigzag pattern north to south. Again, we ask other units if they see this, and sure enough, same story. At this point, we're joking that the other units must have thought we were smoking something and that we were surely going to get drug tested. But then the bogey changed its direction and took a heading towards a tanker about 150 miles or so away. Now we were nervous because Russian activity isn't uncommon, and tankers, KC-135s, are defenseless. They are flying gas stations, and if worse came to worse, they couldn't defend themselves. So I right away receive approval to pull a set of Vipers off task to intercept. I recognized that these Vipers were the same from the previous night. The flight lead had an unmistakable deep voice with a southern drawl. Well, I explained to the bogey track about knowing the situation in the AOR, and the Vipers get serious because right now we are likely all thinking Russian. I point out the track, and the Vipers intercept. 40 miles clean, says Viper. 30 miles, still silence. At this point, I had every controller in the room on my frequency listening in. You could hear a pin drop. 20 miles clean, says Viper 2 this time. 15 miles, 10 miles. But this time the bogey doesn't vanish. Still silence, and about 8.5 miles I hear Viper say, "Radar contact." At this point our hearts dropped, and my resting heartbeat must have been around 120 easy. Vipers pull the intercept, and I ask for more data, but don't hear a response. Viper 2 calls out and says it's not an aircraft, but can't seem to give me any more detail. We're all stumped at this point. They come around again, but the flight lead loses the bogey on his sensors, but can't seem to acquire it visually. At this point, they are just within a few miles of each other. We call the interceptor off and tell them to return to their original tasking, but as they flow back, Viper 2 tells me that he was able to snap a few pictures on IR and recorded the object. Now, the fighter pilots are known for their cool, confident voices over the radio, and it's all you have, and it's your credibility. Both of these pilots seem very uneasy and somewhat spooked, which in turn made me nervous. The bogey continued on its heading until we lost radar contact. Eventually, the Vipers returned to their base. We reported the information up and continued our shift, trying to make sense of what just happened. As soon as I got off shift, I called over the Viper squadron and asked the desk officer to have the flight lead call me when they got in. A few more hours passed, and as I'm sitting at my desk in the office, the phone rings. I pick it up. It's Viper. I introduce myself as the earlier controller, and we get into it, and I explain the situation from the days prior. Initially, the pilots were confused and joked that we must have been seeing things, but as I asked him to describe what he saw, and he was somewhat at a loss for words, he said that even though he was only a few miles from it, he was unable to actually acquire it on his radar or visually, but that we were able to see it through their pod in FLIR mode, forward-looking infrared. He described that the object as a black, upside-down triangle that radiated a lot of heat. I was stumped, and so was he. This is an experienced aviator, and I had the feeling that he'd seen something, and it left him worried, to say the least. He said he couldn't identify it, and that once they were basically on top of it, it vanished from their sensors. We conclude the call, and I wait for the files. I receive them, and sure enough, there it is, a black upside-down triangle-shaped object that was emitting heat. I showed my fellow controllers, and we were all a little freaked out. We were all very well aware of what technologies we and our allies possess, and this didn't look like anything we had ever seen. I understand that there are classifications that go well beyond my prior access, but they are read-in programs for this stuff. Again, it could be well above my pay grade, but not in that AOR, to say the least. Anyway, a few days go by and many different units try to get a hold of my office, trying to get us to forward them the UFO data from the fighters, but we initially are told to hold it close and wait for further guidance. We joked that we would soon see Men in Black. And days go by and the track once again appears on the scope. We keep an open dialogue with Viper Squadron until it abruptly, one day they stopped responding to our emails and calls about it. We're later told to drop it and forget about it as well. Now, I was initially skeptic, but I still think about this all the time. The pilot said what confused him the most was at that altitude, it's cold, really cold. Yet this black triangle didn't appear to have any method of propulsion, but still gave off infrared heat signatures and was flying against the wind at altitude. He said it performed and maneuvered unlike anything he had ever seen before. I don't know what those pilots saw, and I'm not sure they did either. This isn't the only strange thing that's happened during my deployments, but the most memorable for sure. My guess is that if aliens really are visiting us, it would make sense for them to be in that airspace downrange. We are currently using the most sophisticated technologies we own there, and if they wanted to get a true measure of what we're capable of studying us and our technology, that would make sense to me. But you be the judge, UFO or secret military project, both are possible, but for many reasons in my experience, I'm leaning towards something not of this world. Yikes. Pretty creepy, right?
Wow. Jeez, what a story.
Yeah, that's that was a whole mini-series, really. I mean, it's
Woo.
very well written, very well documented. I would love to see the imagery, but
See, that's what I mean when I say like stories need more info. That was perfect.
yeah, that was a lot of info. But it was very chronological too, which I really like. Like it brings you through the experience day to day to day, you know?
Yeah. I like also just so I don't forget, apparently T-Bone gifted 5 memberships earlier.
Ooh, T-Bone, woo! Well, let's see who got them.
And Lenda gifted 1.
Lenda gifted 1. Thank you both. Let's see what the 5 were.
I don't know. They said they were saying you missed it earlier. So
I
don't know
did?
how much earlier. Yeah.
My God, I'm getting like restream chat messages. Congratulations.
Oh, there it is. I see it now.
Can you read them out? Who got the memberships?
Well, it was Marvax 2, CRF 1000L AUS, Alana, I'm sorry if I butcher it, and then Ryan Allen.
Wow, very cool. Congratulations to all you, and thank you, T-Bone, for...
And Pyromedic. There we go. Okay.
Pyromedic. Thank you for T-Bone for making all that possible. Hopefully you guys like being a member and you decide to remember on your own after 30 days.
Actor from Lenda. There we go. Got it.
Lenda, thank you so much as well. You guys are amazing. It's been a very giving night already. It's been very cool. Had a few donations prior to you showing up, so...
The giving portal tree.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, what do they call them? Advent calendars around Christmas. You just open a day and something pops out, and that's all you guys. Yeah, very cool. Thank you guys. I appreciate your kindness and all of your incredible support. Brent, top secret black craft with internal miniature nuclear reactor for power propulsion. Yeah, I mean, there's the old TR3B discussion. Like, anytime anybody brings up a UFO triangle shape, automatically people go, oh, TR3B, that's one of ours. And I who the hell knows? I don't necessarily think so. I think the triangle-shaped UFOs probably predate TR3Bs by a long shot. But, yeah, I don't know. It could be. It's possible. I do believe there is reverse engineered craft and stuff like that, but... I don't know.
Sounds like it reminds me of the description. Sounds like what you saw as well.
Well, the fact that they couldn't see it with their eyes, but they could with I saw it through IR as well, night vision, first generation night vision, but I couldn't see it with my naked eyes. So yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing as I was reading that story. It's like, wow, I know what that's like to look and something's not there, but then to look through the device and see it. So I can totally relate to that. Whatever these things are, they can hide from the native light spectrum that we see. So very wild.
Crazy.
Yeah, it is very, very crazy. Very cool. And that's when I saw that, when I experienced that myself, I was like, that's not ours. Because it's one thing to have, maybe reverse engineered propulsion and the ability to move and traverse the, space without the normal drag and stuff like that. Like doing impossible aeronautical feats would make sense, but to have reverse engineered some form of cloaking technology already, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's possible. I have no idea, but it totally exploded my perspective of all of this for sure. So, and when it happened to me, I'd never heard of that before. Like, I saw this, experienced it, saw that it wasn't there with my own eyes. I'd never heard that in a UFO report before. I've since heard that other people have experienced that as well. But at the time, it was brand new to me. Like, oh my God, they can hide. They can not be seen. They can just hit a button. And oftentimes, in the history of people filming weird objects in the sky and suddenly, boom, they're gone. And people assume that they shoot off at impossible speeds. Well, they might have just hit a button. And they're still right there.
I was just thinking the same thing. The one I saw, it looked like it shot off like just insanely from a standstill to boom, gone. But what if it was just maybe they traveled a bit of distance and then it was just, the invisibility happened.
Blink. Yeah, it sure could be. And maybe motion is part of that. The one I saw never uncloaked, so I could only see it through the night vision binoculars. Like, it never became visible with my own eyes. I kind of wish, there's only one thing I kind of wish that I had done and that I had the courage to done at the time. And it sounds stupid, but honest to God, I wonder what the reaction would have been if I had waved. Because maybe, he sees us. Come on, let's just, I don't know that I wanted him to say hi, but it would have been neat if they flashed something like, oh yeah, hey, little monkey. Hey, monkey.
We see you.
Yeah. We see you, bald monkey. Good job.
I mean, in a way, that would be communication. So therefore, you'd be communicating with extraterrestrials.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah. But honestly, when I realized, I'm watching them and like I'm the only thing going on in this whole valley, and they're sitting above this tree, they're watching me, and that's when it got really uncomfortable. Like, oh, wait a minute, I saw a fire in the sky with Travis Walton. I don't want this to go any further, you know? I mean, this is as real as I need it to be. I don't feel like I need probing tonight. I'm good. So that was the experience, but true, honest to God experience. I've seen it. Yeah, I think we're the bald monkeys, Maggie.
Yep.
Mike Prine now knew a dude who's seen one in an Air Force hangar. Wow, that's pretty fascinating, Mike. I'm sure there's people in the military that have experienced these things. Depending on where they are or what they're doing, I mean, there's classified military projects all over. And if there's recovered craft, that would definitely be classified. And somebody's got to keep an eye on that stuff. And oftentimes they're people with some form of clearance, but maybe less restrictive about what they talk about. You know, some people I think are just blowing smoke. You know, like, I've seen UFOs. I had a beer with a gray once. You know, I mean,
oh yeah.
You know, there's people like that. You know, the biggest red flags are the people like, I can tell you exactly what this stuff is. Just ask me. You know, it's like, oh, yeah, of course, you're an expert. You're an expert and everybody else is an idiot. Of course.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
yes.
those are that kind of hubris is like, oh, yeah, it's just dripping with your arrogance.
It's just ego batteries. Just ego batteries.
Yep. Jose says, Brent, my UFO sighting went slow and then dissolved into a cloud. That's fantastic, Jose. Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, very, very wild. Yeah, I think you sent that to me, right? I've got that tagged to read in an upcoming podcast dealing with listener emails. So very cool. Do you think people gave directors of movies descriptions at all? I think that anybody doing a movie about this stuff would have probably referenced UFO reports pretty comprehensively as part of their research, just to understand what is it people are experiencing. How do we duplicate that on film? Like, I'm sure Spielberg, researched the hell out of it for Close Encounters, things people had seen, the weird orb-like lights and stuff. So it was very, very well done. You saw Close Encounters of the Third Kind, right, Sheldon?
Many years ago.
You did, but you did see it, right?
I don't remember any of it, so it'd be like a new movie now.
Well, it's like it all. Basically, the culmination is that they meet on top of Devil's Tower, that weird tower that looks like a tree stump. It's a rock. You don't. Does that sound familiar?
Nope.
Okay, well then you probably haven't seen it, but you should see it. It's an older movie, but it still stands up as one of the great movies dealing with the whole abduction scenario.
Oh.
Yep. It was really, really well done.
Wait, I saw one movie about the Alaskan incident in
Yeah,
Alaska?
that's Close Encounters of the Fourth Kind, I think, is what that one was called. And that was dealing with Nome, Alaska. People were seeing owls all the time, and they realized they were actually aliens.
Oh.
Did you see?
No, it was a different movie.
Oh, was it the Thing?
No, that's a great movie though. No,
It is.
No.
It is. But that deals with extraterrestrial life in a bad way. So I don't know, but yeah, there's several really good movies out there that go into a lot of this stuff. But I think yeah, Maggie, I think that they're very there are probably teams of people that research this stuff, or they get consultations with like MUFON and stuff like that, and have them consult for the movies about what people are seeing, where they're seeing it, how they're seeing it, and then they duplicate that. So yeah. Not Ben Grimm. That's the Thing from the Fantastic Four, Eric. The Thing, the movie with Kurt Russell from, I don't know, the late 70s or 80s. Good movie. Good movie.
Ending, God, I wish we hadn't answered that ending. Still want to answer that ending. I think about that once in a while.
Which one are you talking about? The one
the
with
old the old one. Yeah.
the fog or what?
No. The Thing.
The Thing.
You
The
know,
one where
at the end of the movie, you're not. You know, it's not really stated. It's not stated as to if the Thing is actually dead or if one of them is.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I wanted to know the answer, but apparently they left it ambiguous on purpose.
That's how they create sequels.
But there never was one.
Well, but there probably was going to be. They just didn't end up doing one.
Oh.
Yep. All right. I know, or the original with Matt Dillon. Oh, okay. I know of the original with Matt Dillon. Wasn't Kurt Russell in the thing, or what the hell was that?
Yeah, yeah, it was Kurt Russell.
Yeah, Kurt Russell. I don't know of
Yeah.
one with Matt Dillon, though. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Got to see it after the new Superman, Jose says.
Didn't see the new one. I don't know.
I've heard good things about it, but I still think Henry Cavill is Superman. I'm not ready to go to another person portraying it, but I guess the Superman movie, the new one, is more comic book realistic, like kind of follows along that thread better. But I don't know. Anybody's guess. I'm not a big critic. I just,
I'm a Cavalier.
You're a Cavalier. You
I'm
got
a
a buzzword for that too? Wow.
I made it up just now.
Everybody should know the Cavalier.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there we go. That was the article. Hope you guys liked that. I thought that was a good article. Just the interesting takes to hear reports from military people,
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Abso-freaking-lutely. So, you know what time it is, Sheldon?
Adventure time.
The hell is that?
Yeah.
It's time for What the Hell Is That? Because we always wondering what the hell that is. What is all this stuff, this weirdness? What the hell is that is a new segment I've been doing on the shows for a while now. It's one that I really enjoy because I think I started doing this segment mostly as a critical thinking exercise because there's a lot of garbage out there. And I really wanted to showcase and expose a lot of bad hoaxes. But through the evolution of it, I've decided to showcase some pretty convincing clips as well. So we kind of touch on both of it. Things that may very well be legitimate and then those that are not, and why do we think that? But I think it's always good if you're looking at evidence online to look at it first through the eyes of a skeptic. Look at everything you see through the eyes of a skeptic. Start with it's fake and let the clip convince you it's not. And you got to look for things like, and it's getting harder and harder with AI renderings to discern what is real, what isn't real. And it's very possible that things are being dismissed now as AI that might even be real just because we don't have any real benchmarks in place to protect people against AI renderings. I really think there should be an automated watermark that appears on every AI video, or you can turn it on so you get a clip, a little icon that'll show up and go, oh, this is an AI render. Like it's built into the render to protect people from being fooled. I hope that they do that, a digital watermark or some pixel that is, definitely triggers a notice because it's too easy to believe some of this stuff because it's so well done. So,
what do you think about legality of these things? I was actually thinking about that because there's already some AI stuff that kind of is a little sketchy, and so I wonder if down the line there's going to be some legality on it. But then again, how could they do that? Because it's media.
Well, there's evolving legalities in that, I think that it'll be unless it's clearly satire. It's not okay to, if it's satire, that's kind of a loophole for a lot of it. But if it's taking a known person or a likeness and a voice of a person and making them do something they never did, there's evolving legalities about that where it'll be prosecutable probably, or at least
so it could be slander.
Yeah, slander or any number of it could be a defamation of character would be another one. And so I'm sure that more and more of this will evolve out of all of this confusion of AI renderings and stuff. But so in answer to your question, I think it's coming. That more official guidelines are being evolved. Even YouTube's stepping in and like they're demonetizing a bunch of channels that are just, nothing but AI trash, because it's like, well, what do? You put a prompt in a thing and it spits out a work, and then you just sit back there and cash the checks. Well, that's not fair to the people that are out there creating content and working, and it's not a level playing field. Like, and if everything was AI, that would suck too. because generally speaking, the AI stuff really lacks a soul. You don't get that same feeling of watching something that's AI versus something that was truly created. At least I don't. It just feels hollow, like a lot of movies now, where the CGI is so over the top. Even like the superhero movies, when it first came out, I was like, wow, this is really cool. And then after a while, it's like it just kind of becomes unremarkable, because Thor lifted a mountain, cool. It's like you just don't. I don't know. It's like for instance, the Transformer movies. The first Transformer movie to me was revolutionary. It was powerful. It was just masterfully done. It just exposed slowly this idea that these machines were sentient, could hide and could change their appearance, and it just unveiled like a masterpiece. But everyone after that was just like, okay, it's more cars and planes and stuff fighting.
Well, it just got watered down.
Yeah, it just got overdone. So I think CGI's been overdone. So it's kind of lost the heart in a lot of those movies. It just looks too good, honestly.
That's why I love movies like Dune that use a lot of practical effects along with
Sure, yeah,
their movie experience. Yeah.
I remember when movies, they would build huge sets. They would build huge sets. Now it's just a green screen on most of them. Like, we're going to put you in front of this green screen, and then later you'll be on this other planet after we get done processing it. It's like, well, I mean, there's like for instance, and this is going to maybe sound cheesy, but the Harry Potter movies were incredibly well done with their sets and stuff that they built. Sometimes existing locations. There were several locations over in England that they used and in Europe, but there were also a lot of incredible sets, the forest sets and stuff like that. Even Lord of the Rings, they did a lot of set work and stuff, and it was beautiful. But anyway, I don't mean to be a movie critic here, but AI is kind of sucking the heart out of a lot of this stuff.
Yes.
I mean, it's an amazing tool. I love AI, don't get me wrong. I think that once it kind of filters down and people find practical uses for it, I think it'll benefit us in a huge way. But in the meantime, there's just so much trash out there. So that's what spurned the introduction of What the Hell Is That? So we're going to start with a video from Slapped Ham, actually. I love Slapped Ham, Callan. And he says, Slapped Ham. It's kind of like Nuke's Top 5. It's, he does a lot of reels or videos. It's very busy in here tonight.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, that's more than average. We're getting a lot more visits, apparently. But Slapped Ham is wonderful. It's Callan is out of Australia. I think it's an Australian team of people that are putting out these videos. And he always goes, we got more videos like this. He does this weird head turn and then looks back at the camera. It's almost cartoony. I love Slapped Ham. So we're going to look at that right now, folks. Looking at Slapped Ham video. And I do suggest checking out Slapped Ham if you're not familiar with it. It's just fantastic. I've been watching Slapped Ham for years, and I love Slapped Ham. All right, so this is Strange Bipedal Creatures. And I don't know, it's a pretty interesting video. Could it be a terrestrial animal? Sure. It could be a couple terrestrial animals. But it does look like little bipedal creatures walking around in this scene. Here's what I'm talking about for our first inclusion of What the Hell Is That? Let's take a look at it. Let me turn off this so it doesn't come up every time I go back to this scene. All right, here we go. Here's Slapped Ham. I'm going to turn on the volume because you got to hear Callan. Callan's great.
Recorded late at night on an outdoor home security camera. We can see a dark driveway with two cars parked side by side. One might
see, I see this as a car. I was like, wait, two cars? There's garbage cans in a car, but this is a car here. Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
expect to see a few nocturnal animals scurrying around in the dark. However, in this footage, we see two small creatures that don't move like any common nighttime animal. Watch.
Look at those little guys. What the hell is that?
These creatures.
I don't like the music. I'm going to turn off the music, though. We'll just continue watching it. But look at those. What is that? Are you seeing it?
The hell is that?
they look like they're walking around, like they're little gnome-like size, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't hear where he said it was from. But it comes from the blustery zona del Terror, so it's probably from Mexico or Central America or something, but crazy, right?
Wait a minute. I guess it's skunks
Skunks.
with
Yep.
their tails up.
Well, they'd have to have huge tails.
They do, don't they?
No, I mean, they're pretty proportional to their bodies. Like you will see the quadrupedal part of a skunk and then a tail up. Well, it's not like you're going to see it like this. So it'd have to be doing a handstand if that's a skunk.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, the bottom isn't like pronounced enough. I see.
No, I don't think so. Unless it's edited, it could be edited and it could have just wiped out the quadrupedal part of the bodies and just left the back legs. I mean, things can be edited and masked in video production software where you can mask out a piece or a part of an image and just leave a part. It would be some editing work, but it could be done and not necessarily extraordinarily difficultly. So it could be something that's been edited down to look like bipedal creatures, but even the shadows are pretty consistent with, where you'd expect them to be. But it does look like little feet walking, right?
Yeah, it does. I see what you're seeing. Yeah.
Now, again,
So,
through the course of this segment, we don't have access to a lot. We can't really do a deep dive into any of this, but we can look at it and just say, does it look like it could be real? Well, yeah, it does. I don't see any obvious fakery outside of masking and editing. I don't think this is AI. Could be an AI. You could certainly duplicate this on AI. I don't know. But look at it. It looks like little feet walking. Looks like little action figure sized people.
yeah,
Right?
it is tiny. Yeah, extremely tiny.
No,
The
we do cover things like puck wedgies and gnomes and the proto pygmies. And could this be something like that? It could be. Again, I'm not trying to tell you should believe this is real. Too small to be a toddler? Yeah, it's much too small to be. You wouldn't have a little baby walking like that at that size. I mean, that would literally be infant sized. Probably about 18 inches tall, roughly. And, like when you were born, you were 21 inches long. So
BJ LaPierce, author and illustrator, says if you look at the first one, just look at the first one only. You can see the white strip down the back and the body lengthens out.
Well, first of all, it's recorded like a potato, so I mean it's fuzzy. It's with a cheap surveillance video, and these are just. Well, you can see something light. I don't think that's a stripe though. It could be carrying something. I don't know. Is it impossible it's a skunk? No, it's not. It just doesn't seem to have the right size. When it's broken down in slow-mo like that, I didn't see any white stripe. So,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't quite.
I mean, I'm not saying it couldn't be. I'm not sure what it is, but could it be real? In my opinion, it could be. So,
Yeah, well, the thing that gets me too is that they're walking around that obstruction,
sure. I mean, it's whatever they are, they're actually in the scene, or it seems like they're in the scene.
Seems like it, yeah.
yeah.
At least.
Again, it could be masked. It could be a masking, and it could just be cats. And they masked out the front side of the cat and just left the tail upright and the back two legs walking. I mean, that is possible. And then you just superimpose the scenes on top of each other, removing the masked out area, and what you're left with would look something like this. So it's not like it couldn't be hoaxed. I just wonder, it's real. Well, what the heck is it? Yeah, that's the whole segment. I don't know. What the hell is that? And I don't, Slapped Ham, of course, never gives you any determinations either, because Kellen's like, well, what do you think? Kind of like Nuke. They both don't draw conclusions. They just present videos and say, what do you think? It's kind of like this segment. What do you think? I don't know. One in the chat, you think it's possibly real? 0, you think, nope. Some kind of fakery. What do you think? there's no wrong answers. It could be either or. Capes. Yeah, it does almost look like cloaks. You're right. It almost looks like they're wearing little cloaks, like they're little wizards. Wizard Harry, and a thumping good one once you train up a bit.
1001101.
Sure. I'm thinking it's possible. Again, we cover a lot of this stuff on the show. People are seeing stuff like this all the time. Not saying you should believe it's real. I'm not saying you shouldn't believe it's real. Again, start from skeptic and work your way forward. Does it look like it could potentially be some of the stuff we talk about? Sure. In my opinion, yeah. But does that mean I think it's real? Not really. But it could be. I'm really kind of ambiguous on this one.
It's tough. It's too low quality.
It is. That's the tough part. Yes.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. I mean, if we had 4K night vision cameras, we could see what the hell's going on. You could really get a nice zoom. But again, this is probably, 140 pixels per inch. So it's just meant to show you, hey, someone was here messing with your car. It's not meant for like absolute identification purposes, like a high quality camera would be. But it's interesting. There we go.
Why is there more to the video? Like, why do they show up in the middle of the driveway and you don't see what direction they come from?
Yeah, that's a great question.
I'm assuming because these are motion detector cameras that probably come on when there's motion, and maybe for some reason it didn't catch it until they were right in the middle of the frame.
Sometimes that can be. I've got a security camera that points out to the back of my house, and I can be out there for 5 minutes standing, and I'll be well within the camera range, standing just feet from it, and it won't trigger. And then suddenly I'll just turn like this and boom, it triggers. It's like, well, God, I've been out here for 5 minutes. So they're not absolute. Cameras like this are not absolute. Like they don't, you raise a good point, Sheldon, because they don't like detect any motion and turn on. It takes a certain amount of motion or a certain amount of the screen to be influenced in order for them to trigger. Like it's a percentage thing. It's constantly scanning what it's seeing. And if it notices a change in a certain percentage or certain regions of the screen, then it will start taking footage. So,
well, yeah. Otherwise, every little speck of change on the camera, it would turn on, and your memory would be just full after like 2 days.
Yeah. And there's even filters on a lot of these cameras for pets. Like if you have cats and stuff, I have cats and a small dog, so I had to have my things set up for pets. Meaning that it won't trigger just because my pets walk by normally. The back camera will, but that's just to detect anything coming up to my back door. Yeah. So anyway, interesting stuff. It's the first part of what the hell is that?
Could they be babies? Oh,
Could
no.
they what?
Tails are just too tall.
Yeah.
They're baby skunks, but that would account for the small bottom portion, but the tails are ginormous.
Yeah, they are. Again, could be masked, could be cheated in that way. I don't think that it's skunks, but it could be a cat, could be, it just looks like it's actually taking like bipedal steps though. And it's curious. Whatever the hell we're looking at is very curious. I'm about halfway on this. Yeah, it could be real. I would definitely say it could be real because we cover this stuff. People are seeing stuff like this all the time. They're reporting about it. Maybe this is a capture, but again, it's on the internet, so you always have to start with a big, healthy dose of caution.
Yep,
that's
true.
There we go. That's the first video. Let's get to the next one. I've got a few of these, so buckle up. This one's a Bigfoot sighting. It's I guess it's called the Beast of Gum Hill. It was somebody seeing a Bigfoot as they were recording themselves going on a four-wheeler up a stream. And this is pretty famous. It's been around for a while. Several of you are going to be familiar with this. It's been around for a long time. But I think this is a really good capture, potentially very legitimate. But we'll get to this one. And this is coming from paranormalwarehouse.com, which is actually a Facebook group, but I guess it's a webpage as well. Paranormal Warehouse is a media company and paranormal social media community. And they posted this. So we're getting this from their page. Check out paranormalwarehouse.com on Facebook and see what you guys think. I don't want this one playing. Got to go back here. All right. I think I'll start with music, or sound. I don't know what kind of music or sound is going to be on this. I don't remember. I've had it open for a while, but let's get to this one. Here it is. And again, most of you that are into the Bigfoot stuff and have reviewed lots of this evidence, you're going to be familiar with this. But it was recorded as he was four-wheeling up a stream. Pay attention after he gets a little bit of the distance ahead. You'll see this giant figure kind of stand up and scoot off into the brush. Looks to me like a Bigfoot, but let's see what you guys think. Let me turn on the sound. I may have to turn it off right away depending on what kind of music is playing, but here we go.
Some call it one of the best Bigfoot clips ever caught on camera, filmed from an ATV deep in the woods. As the rider slows down.
And I'm going to get rid of that because the music's probably going to kill me. The rider slows down on the path to head, something, there it is, stood up in the background. Back here, it kind of stands up and then walks. There it is. Seems to have long arms. So the arm length seems to work for this, but let's look at it again. This one's been around for a long time. It still seems to stand up to scrutiny. I don't know that it's ever been debunked, but look at it, stood up, walking away. Pay attention to the background back here, right here. Boom, standing up, walking away. Looks pretty big in comparison to that guy on the four-wheeler. Like it looks like it's significantly bigger than him. And again, this is another 20 to 50 yards behind him. And look at how small he looks and then how big this is even way back there. Not that it's like giant compared to him, but it looks like it's significantly bigger than him. I think this could be legit. I mean, this is the kind of situation. I mean, he was just recording himself riding in this creek bed on his four-wheeler. And then even he stops, goes, whoa, what's that? So I think this is legit. What do you guys think? 1, real? Or 0, not real? What do you think?
How long ago was this video made, discovered, all that?
I think it's probably from like 2012 or 2008, something like that. I don't know the exact date of this clip. I know it's been around for a long, long time though. Lots of ones. Yep, I agree. I think this is a pretty good capture. It's real. The head should just slightly forward from the large neck and the shoulder muscles. Excellent point, Annie. Yep. It does look like it has that forward placed head. You know, that's a real commonality in Bigfoot on the profile. Its head is set really forward on the shoulders. Big trapezius muscles behind it, like a mountain on the shoulders, all the way up to the head.
The only thing that gets me, honestly, is his reaction.
Justin Goodearth, one.
Wouldn't he... This guy in the four-wheel, I'm just surprised. Wouldn't you just freeze? Like, oh my god!
I don't know.
Not like, oh, what is that? You know. So
if it was coming for him, I could see more of a fear reaction, but it's like a surprise reaction, like, whoa, look. You know, maybe he's already, a believer, and there was like, oh, there it is, there's one. I don't know. It's kind of like the Freeman footage. That was one of the complaints. Paul Freeman, of course, recorded some of the, what I think is like the second best video evidence of Bigfoot out there next to Patterson Gimlin. But Paul Freeman recorded, and some of the critiques that I read online is like, well, doesn't seem too excited. It's like, well, there it goes. What people don't know is that Paul Freeman had seen these things several times. He'd been aggressively researching them for years, finding trackways, having a sighting when he was working for the Department of Forestry for Washington State. He was trailing a herd of deer or elk, and then he came and one stepped out on a logging road in front of him, and then he was in shock and stepped backward, hooked his heel of his boot on a rock and fell, and it stood there and then turned and walked away. So it wasn't his first rodeo, but we don't know if this is this guy's first rodeo or if he's seen them before, if he's already been actively looking for them. I don't know. But, not everybody has the same kind of reactions. I will say that it's walking away from him. So automatically it wouldn't be that as intense of a fear as if it was coming towards him. There would be that. It looks like it's like, oh, God, here's people. I'm out of here. Jeez. He's probably going down to the creek, grabbing some crawdads, and lo and behold, here comes Mr. Four-Wheeler. So it looks.
Chucky says there's a slowed down enhanced version that shows the Bigfoot picking up a baby.
Oh, is that right? Okay. Yeah, I mean that certainly could be as well. Yeah, I don't think I've seen that personally, but thank you, Chucky, for that information. I think it's legit. This is real. Looks too natural and unplanned. Yeah, exactly. I mean, they were recording the four-wheeler going up creek. Now, could it be hoax? Sure. Anything could be.
I was kind of looking at that too, because some of these, I don't know, kind of phony videos, the camera is centered on what's going to happen. Sometimes I've noticed that. But in this case, the camera is centered on the guy in the four-wheeler. It's not even centered on that area. So like, it does seem more natural in that way, I will say.
And how many of you have had your friend try to record you doing something? People suck a lot of times at recording. They're all off center, or they're paying more attention to what they're seeing than angling a camera. Like a true cinematographer is dialed in. They're focused on where the capture is, trying to work with the rule of thirds, keeping everything in frame and composed for every shot. I mean, they are artists. But most people have no idea. They're just like, yeah, it's kind of there. Just start clicking. So, most people suck at video. I mean, unless it's on a tripod. Yeah. So,
That's true.
I think this one's good. I think this one's a very good example of what could very well be a legitimate Bigfoot video. Again, I love the input from the chat. You guys are right. Look for those visual cues. The forward set neck, the longer arms, the stride looked real even though it's walking on a creek bed with boulders and stuff under it. I mean, it wasn't like, it was just like, and then striding off. Very sure-footed. And I think that explains a lot. I think that kind of stride, especially on that kind of terrain, would be very difficult. Now, is it possible there's like some kind of sandbar up there it was just walking across? Sure, it could be very even. But looking at the stuff he's rolling over with that four-wheeler, it looks like a lot of heavy rocks underneath that water. And yet this thing kind of stands up and goes, all right, gets out of there. So very sure-footed. I think that's really powerful. Look for the visual cues when you're looking at Bigfoot stuff as much as you can. So that's that one.
Maggie was saying, can you post the link post the link for Discord?
Yeah. You guys did, right? Android did.
Well, can you post the link for that video so I can put it in Discord as well?
I just closed it. Sorry.
Wow.
Just go to that webpage. I don't even remember the Facebook page that it was on.
But the webpage, the one on Facebook.
It's recorded on this video, so just back it up a little bit. Check it out. I forget. Sorry. I'm just kind of, I've only got about 15 million tabs open, and I'm trying to keep everything together.
That's right.
Here's a great ghost photograph, potentially. Now, we have to trust the narrative that they're giving us. This is coming from Ghosts of London Facebook page, and I think this is a great capture. I've seen this one before. If it legitimately is what they're explaining to be, this is an incredible capture and creepy as hell. But it could just be that, that wasn't what was going on here at all, and some old people still lived in the house they're working on. But if it is indeed a ghost capture, this is brilliant. Without knowing that, we can only represent it as what they're telling us. And here we go. This one comes again from Ghosts of London on Facebook. And I think, thank you, Maggie. Thank you, Rachel. All right. This is coming from Ghosts of London. The background on this shot is, this is a photograph that was taken in 2009 by some construction guys who were working for a roofing outfit from Tremont, Illinois, Koch Construction. One of their workers snapped this photograph with his camera phone. The story goes that they were hired by the new owners of the house, and according to them, the lady who lived there had passed away nearly 3 months before in that house. They'd been working on the house for 2 days, and the house was completely vacant. So that's the backstory. Here's the image.
Whoa.
I was waiting
Wow.
for that.
Jeez.
I don't think that house is vacant. I don't think she's left yet. Now, again, we have to trust the narrative of the photo to say that this is a spirit captured on the window of an old lady looking out at the construction crew. We don't know that that's the case. We don't know anything. But if that narrative is correct, this is an incredible capture of what looks like an old woman in her nightgown looking out at the guys working on the roof.
Extremely good capture, if true.
If true. Again, that's the big caveat. We don't know the true backstory. We can't verify this. But I do like that they put information out there about the construction company, about where it was, about when it was, and what was the context of the photo. So that leads me to believe that at least there's a potential to verify this story.
Yeah.
Whereas most of them are like, hey, this construction crew was working on a roof and check out the picture they got. Well, who knows? You know, it could just be a old elderly lady living there, keeping an eye on it because they're charging by the hour and she's a little pissy, you know?
Yeah, true.
So I'm not paying you to sit there and do photos. You know, I don't know. But if that is a spirit capture, that's a phenomenal capture. And it's potentially one of the best I've ever seen. So I think this could be amazing. It could also be a bunch of bunk. But you got to use your own discretion on this. If anybody has the ability or knows more about this story, please let us know. Again, I'm just basing it on the information that's right here as the narrative. This could all be a fabrication. But if it's legitimate, if this legitimately is a construction crew working on a vacant house, getting it ready for the new owners, and this was captured, that's incredible.
I don't think I've ever seen a photo like of a spiritual entity that clear.
Yeah, that's an amazing capture, and I zoomed it in as much as I can. And what's that?
I just said if true.
If true, yes.
Yep.
But I mean, it looks like an old woman just standing there, kind of hunched over.
Yeah, it does. It does.
So if you're working at an old place, this could be that feeling you got. I feel like I'm being watched. Yes, you are. There you go. Creepy photo. Again, I don't know that it's uncommon that maybe she doesn't know that she's dead. You know, this could be one of the classic examples of she didn't realize that she didn't wake up, or she didn't realize that she didn't come out of that accident or whatever. You know, to her, it could have been just waking up in the morning and it's business as usual. I think that, generally speaking, I think that spirits that are in this state are not really crystal clear on what's going on. I think that it's almost akin to talking with someone with dementia. Like, they're not really sure what's going on. And I think that's kind of the perpetual state that a spirit like this is in, because they're not fully aware of the fact that they're not actually alive anymore. That's not to say that I can be sure about that. Maybe some are. They just love the house. That was where her memories were. She didn't want to leave. And so she knows she's not alive, but she doesn't want to go. That was home. And so it's more endearing and beautiful, but it's also could be a confused state. Like, who the hell are these guys working on my roof? What's going on out here? You know? So it's almost really tragic in some cases. And this is the kind of stuff that kind of breaks my heart about hauntings, is that we don't really understand the state that they're in. Are they aware? And you try to ask those questions like, do you know you're dead? Well, you don't usually get responses from that too much. A lot of times I think they don't even want to address it. Like, they don't even want to talk about it. So I don't know. But just to think that there's someone in this state of potential limbo that's chained to this house just because that was home and that's where the memories were, and they don't know that they've passed. I mean, that's kind of tragic. I always pray that the angels will come and guide them home, you know. But anyway, I don't mean to get too philosophical about it, but I think that's a great capture. Probably a pretty good representation of spirit photography, potentially.
I hope it. I hope it's real. I do.
Yep.
I hope it's legit.
Yeah. Jose said it looks like it's floating high up in the window. Yeah, I don't know. In some of these older houses, like when you have like a upper level, sometimes like in this house, it includes part of the roof as part of the upper level. So it's like it's not really a flat ceiling. So that window might be almost like a foot off of the floor and then go up 4 feet. So, maybe.
Really, is that the case?
Yeah. In my upstairs, my windows are literally about 12 inches off of the carpeting, and they go up about 4 feet from there. So the top of the window is at about the 5.5 foot mark, maybe.
Guess I never noticed. Wow.
Yeah. So, it's hard to know, but looking at how low that roof is to the top of the window, it looks like, her ceiling probably is angled like this, at least for part of it, and then probably flattens out at some point. But that's what it looks like to me, very similar to this house. This is an old house too. So anyway, this has been a presentation of
The hell is that?
Indeed. What the hell is that, Sheldon?
What was that?
I don't even know. But I do know that we are at about 8:48, and I got a couple of great files to bring you in just a moment here. All right, welcome to the Cryptid Corner, and today, to start out on Cryptid Corner, I don't know if we're going to get a chance to get into new stories, but I want to give Wes a tip of my hat because he's given us his blessings to use his blog, to use the listener emails he receives as part of the content on my live streams. And so he did these amazing trailers of a couple upcoming episodes, and so we're going to show those tonight. First off, if you're not listening to Sasquatch Chronicles, first of all, what the hell's wrong with you? You should be.
Yeah.
It really is. I'm very proud of the show that I do, my podcast. I'm very, very proud of it. But I'm here to tell you that even still, after listening to Wes's show for a decade at least, it still gives me chills when that theme song comes on. It's just so incredibly powerful. And I've loved Wes's show for years. It became really a template in a lot of ways for what I do on my podcast. I've ripped him off a bunch too, but he knows that. He knows that, but so has everyone else. Anyway, this is an upcoming show, and this is a story we covered, strange sighting during floods. So here's the trailer for his upcoming episode, and then there's one more after this. Let's check it out.
The rain was unbelievable. There's really no way to describe it other than buckets pouring out. But my first thought was a bear, because we're in the area that we live in. There's tons of bear. And then I split seconds later, I seen how it was walking human-like, and I was like, "What the heck?" And I was like her. I was just stunned. I couldn't really say nothing or do anything, just froze looking at it. But it's like they came toward us, and she was going to try to cut up the bank. Well, she tried to cut up the bank, and she would make about 2 or 3 steps, and she would just slide back down. And she would get the juvenile by the arm and try again, and they would, of course, again, then slide back down. Well, she got a little bit closer to us. By that time, I'm going to guess it was probably about 30 feet. Well, she tried to go up, and that's whenever the juvenile seen my wife and I standing there. Well, she got almost to the top and slid back down again, and I didn't see his mouth move or the juvenile's mouth move or anything, but it's kind of like it maybe communicated with her somehow. And she looked right at us, and we probably had a glare for probably, I'm going to guess, 8 to 10 seconds. And she grabs him by the arm and takes off running up the road and then goes back down a bank.
There goes my monetization. There goes monetization, but that's okay. I'm willing to give it up for Brother Wes. Yeah, really cool. Got the Bigfoot AI singing.
Nice.
He's so creative. He's incredibly creative. A lot of people don't know that, but he's not only brilliant at the audio stuff, but he's brilliant at the audio visual stuff, the video elements as well. Just a very talented guy. So, all right, and then the next one is an upcoming show, Unlivable Nightmare, and this one's really well done too. So let's look at this one. I wonder if I can do this. I wonder if I can do this and just open it up in another tab. I don't like that it's so small. And if I make it big, it's too big. So I got to put something in the middle here. Try to figure out how to size this.
So as I rode along, Paint started really being hyper. You know, he was really being hyper and throwing his head up and snorting. And as we got up there and he's dancing around, I decided to look back behind me because I felt like I was being looked at. And I see this stump off to the side of the trail, probably 10, 15 feet off the trail I just rode down. And I said, now, how in the world did I just pass that up when I'm looking for something to get off of this sweaty horse? So, you know, I just thought no more about it and rode on up there and got off and tightened the cinch. And this horse was 17 hands. Well, I'm 5'1", so I'm not going to get to reach up there with my feet. That's why I was looking for a rock or something to slide off so I could get back on the horse. So as I'm sitting there trying to tighten his cinch, he moves around and snorts and looks back down that trail. Well, the only thing I'm thinking is somebody has to be down there because he's not going to act like that or something. So I went on ahead and tightened it up real fast, and I got up on the rock to I hit my leg over, and just as I sling my leg over, I realized that what I thought was a stump, wasn't. It was in the middle of the trail now. And I'm trying to figure out what this thing is, you know? And I'm like, that's not a bear. My horse at this time, he starts really fighting me for his head. And so then this thing stands up and I can see it's on two legs and its ears are,
You're emotional.
I could see the ears, and it kind of cocked its head to the side because I was trying to figure out what it was, and I was fighting my horse, and it just stepped forward.
There you go. So a couple of teasers for Wes's upcoming shows. Great job on those both.
Yeah, very good teasers. Wow.
Yeah, you can hear the emotion in that lady's voice, and I think those are the most powerful stories when you can hear that confusion, that fear, that I don't know, terror coming through her voice, that is making her cry even so long after the fact. And that's such a commonality in these cryptid stories. I mean, there's been plenty of combat veterans who talk about the most terrified they'd have ever been, and you'd think it would be at a firefight in Fallujah or Afghanistan or somewhere, and they're being surrounded and all of that. But they said, I've been in firefights, and that's scary, but I've never been so scared in my life as when I saw the Bigfoot or the Dog Man or something. And the fear is just on a whole different level. And just that emotion in her voice. I mean, how do you fake that? How do you fake that? You got to be like an actress. She would have to be like a hell of an actress to be able to turn on emotion like that.
Yeah, it doesn't sound fake to me.
No, nor to me. I think it's incredibly powerful, and I hope you guys definitely watch those episodes, support what Wes is doing. Obviously, he's been a long-time friend of mine personally, but also of the show, and he's helped me amazingly. So it feels good sometimes to be able to give back to him in this way, like showing you guys some of the incredible stuff he's doing in case you're not paying attention. Although I would wager that 90% of you probably already are, but if 10% of you out there have not heard Sasquatch Chronicles podcast, my God, you're missing an incredible show. Literally the best paranormal cryptozoological podcast out there. And I'm, like I said, I'm very proud of the podcast I do, but yeah, Wes is just magic. So definitely check it out. Definitely check it out. And you can find all of his podcasts on all the major platforms out there. So lots of amazing stuff going on. And unfortunately, that's about the end of our show tonight. We're at the 9 o'clock mark. Phantoms and Monsters is still being rebuilt, so that's why we haven't visited Lon's site. But I hope you guys came from Lon's show. And I hope those of you that are still got a lot of gas in your tank and looking for something to do will go visit our wonderful friend, Mr. Dave Scott, over on Spaced Out Radio. He'll be going live, well, almost now. So go over and head out and hang out with Dave Scott. Tell him the portal sent you. Tell him B. Arthur sent you. He calls me B. Arthur.
Why?
I don't know. He's got this golden, because I'm golden. He said, the golden girls, B. Arthur. So I call him Betty White because he's like all white. His beard is white. His hair is white. So I call him Betty White. So anyway, but very, very cool stuff. Larry and Shirley Bell says, our one son who saw the Dogman crossing the road in front of him while he was doing security has kind of put him in a state of disbelief, just trying to figure out what he was seeing. Yeah, that's really the thing. Wow. There's no preparing yourself for seeing the impossible. And I don't mean to suggest that this stuff is not possible, but I think the first time you see it for real, it's life-changing moment. Like, you'll never look at the world around you the same ever again. Much like, and I don't mean to, let me tell you my story. But when I saw the UFO, it was life-changing for me. Not in a bad way, in a good way, because I always knew they were out there. But then I saw it. It was like, I know now. I know that this is real. And when I was growled at, I know I was close to something big and scary. I didn't see it, but it was close enough.
Well, yeah, I mean, it turns just a story into my reality, Yeah,
absolutely.
It's powerful. It's a powerful moment.
Yeah, that's at that point you own the story. It becomes yours as well. So, all right, guys, this is gonna wrap it up for us. Thank you, Sheldon, for joining us. Anything in closing?
Oh, there's always something in closing, guys. First thing I'm gonna do is put the paranormalportal.net, the home base of the Paranormal Portal, in the chat. Visit it, favorite it, star it. Make sure you're always visiting, seeing when the new episodes and podcasts are becoming available, as well as the interview me button. As well as Rachel did post it earlier, but you know what? I'm going to post it again. Discord.gg/paranormal portal, or this link I'm going to put right in the chat will bring you straight to the Paranormal Portal Discord. We can keep up to date on the discussions with all the tabs, as well as the question of the week for tomorrow. There's still time to answer the question of the week. Get your thoughts out there, guys.
Amen. Well, that's going to wrap it up for us, guys. Make sure to go hang out with Dave Scott over on Paranormal or on Spaced Out Radio, not Paranormal Portal Radio. That's my show. I think I just had a stroke. But yeah, go check out Dave and tell Tell them we sent you. So that's going to wrap it up for us. Good night, everybody. Remember, we love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day and remember to laugh as much as you can. You guys take care, and I will see you tomorrow night. Same place, same channel. Good night, everybody.
Good night.